to short and sweet. The old debating principle used to be, or public speaking principle used to be, that was what I was taught when I was of your age. Stand up, speak up, shut up. Right. So now let's pick up the threads from yesterday. Yesterday we were asking a question which arose naturally from the introduction to the Fine Arts Society. We asked the question, why the Fine Arts Society? Why do we care for art forms at all? And encountered one particular idea, that the human fascination for art and the gift of creativity pertain to a very deep and fundamental human need, which is the need to experience perfection, attain perfection, and also saw that the pathos of the human situation is that we do not reach and attain perfection as a finished product. This much we understood yesterday. I didn't have time yesterday to take you to the second idea, because I started by saying that the two important thoughts came to my mind as I was listening to the introduction to the Fine Arts Society. The second idea is this, and I'm going to develop that idea in a very tentative form with you, and I'm commending this to your further consideration, like all other ideas that I discuss with you. Now, when I look at any art form, take painting for example, or sculpture, or music, or dance, or whatever, what strikes my notice, what engages my attention, what captivates my focus is the primacy of the human. Can you remember that? The primacy of the human, or the supremacy of the human, or the decisive importance of the human as against the importance of material resources. And I want you to understand this and think further about this. And in order to enable you to think further, I'm going to share some very basic thoughts, very simple thoughts. Okay? Shall we start? All right. Then I'll come back to the theme I started three assemblies ago, namely ask. Let me see how much time this takes. Now, in a materialistic culture, there is a shift in focus from the human to the material. Material accessories, material resources, the material dimension as a whole becomes more important than the human. Therefore, a person's worth, a person's importance is not located in himself or herself, but located in what he or she has. It may be a kursi, therefore you have kisa kursi ka. You cannot have kisa kursi ka in relation to a person who is greater than the chair. Only a person who is smaller than, cheaper than the chair will create the kisa kursi ka situation. See, kisa kursi ka cannot be translated. Right? You understand what I mean? The story of the chair. I would say the hysteria about the chair. Chair becoming the idol, as it were. Chair becoming the defining element. Who you are is defined by the chair you hold or occupy. Therefore, when such people are separated from their chairs, they go into deep depression and unbearable identity crisis. This is why people tend to hold on to their positions. You understand? Or take another example. Why do cell phone models and technologies change so fast? Why do phones have to be so expensive? Can you imagine somebody buying a cell phone for 50,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees? But you can easily manage with a phone that costs 1,000 rupees. If communicating with people is an issue, then a very cheap phone will do as well. But you need more and more expensive phones, the latest in the market, the state of the art, because that is how you actually consolidate in the public domain an image of yourself. We are driven to change our models every 6 months, at least every year, for fear that otherwise we would be left behind. We would look outmoded, like the phone itself. So what is important is not me. What is important is this piece of equipment, this instrument. Now, I believe that this is an insult to the human. But now you look at an artist. An artist, of course, needs a stage or a piece of canvas, brush, paint, etc. But the sum total of all the material accoutrements that an artist needs or uses is nothing compared to the artist himself or herself. All the stage and all the lights and all the costumes put together is nothing compared to an accomplished a dancer, a maestro, or a musician. You understand? And this is something that all art forms silently talk to us about. You must become greater than the material surroundings of your life. And this idea, of course, is related to the first idea introduced, namely perfection. Perfection is the product of growth, isn't it? If you stay frozen in time, if you're stunted in your growth, if you don't grow at all, then you can never reach perfection. And as you grow, as you develop your talents, develop your personality, develop your thinking abilities, develop your imagination, develop and widen your mental horizons, your dependence on material things will diminish. The more underdeveloped you are, the more abjectly you will depend on material things. For example, fashion. Why do people get too obsessed with fashions? The latest fashion, even if it is so absurd and stupid, obscene and vulgar, we must imitate the latest fashion. It's actually, if you think of it, a public advertisement of one's own underdevelopment. All that it takes for us to switch fashions is a picture that somebody in the Western Hemisphere has switched to that particular fashion. So if somebody comes with very tight, short shorts, the shortest of shorts, we must also immediately switch over, otherwise we are finished. Hum khadam ho gaye. I mean, this is a kind of slavery. But this slavery is a result of our underdevelopment. If you grow and develop as a human being, you will grow out of this slavery this dependence on external things. And this is something I have learned from the realm of art. What do I need? I'm an author. What do I need in the world? I need a pen and paper. Because now I use a laptop or a computer. What else do I need? God forbid if I reach a situation where my laptop is more important than me. I will faint. If I have the slightest sense in me, I will not faint. The reason why many of us don't faint is that we don't have much consciousness of ourselves. There's an old Malayalam song which says, if people remember what happened in the past, some will laugh, some will cry, some will immediately faint and fall down. But for that, you have to have some sensitivity, right? Anyway, so these two thoughts came to me while I was listening to the speaker yesterday, Sojo, who was introducing the Fine Arts Society, and I thought I should share them with you. Now, because I want to use this as an illustration of something. What was the point I was trying to illustrate yesterday? That if you develop the capacity to think, no matter where you are, you do not have to be bored. You do not have to feel depressed. These are the two great epidemics of our times, depression and boredom. And the irony is that these two epidemics have risen in an age which boasts of its capacity for free thinking. The irony of this age is, this age of free thinking has lost the capacity to think. Everybody is quick to claim the right to free thinking, but nobody knows what thinking is. I'm telling you today, this is the age that thinks the least. How many of you can say